everyone, it's me again. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in and this is the first episode you've seen and you want some background information on these episodes, then check out the first episode in the series of the raw and uncut episodes that we have. I'm just going to jump right into it and let's get started. So today I'm going to share some of the things about me and Boris, some of our background, so you get to know us a little bit better. There's a lot to share, so this might be, like a 10-parter or something video, who knows. But one of the things that a lot of people don't know and don't realize when they meet us for the first time is that we have a lot of similarities. There are things that are so similar about us. Some things aren't that crazy. Some of them are really crazy. And the more we get to know each other and got to know each other, as when we met, we realized that our lives are really parallel. So it just made things really interesting. And sometimes we even now look back and it's still crazy to believe. So we want to share all that stuff with you because we think it's really cool to share. And yeah, why not? So one of the things that you might or might not find interesting, it's one of the first things we found out about each other is that we were both born in Moldova. So Moldova is like a really small country. It's a landlocked country, landlocked between Romania and Ukraine. It's actually one of the least visited countries in the world, and it's famous for its wine. It's actually, a lot of people don't know this, but it's the largest distributor and maker of wine in the world. And it just really doesn't get its credit, but the wine there is unbelievable if you love wine. And the grapes there are just phenomenal. And actually a lot of countries, I'm not going to name any names, but France, they go to Moldova, take their grapes, and then bring them back and make their wine in France. But the grapes are Moldovan. So the grapes really is where it's at. And Moldova actually has the largest and second largest wine cellar in the entire world. Underground wine cellars, which are just so large you can't even imagine. And there are presidents and people throughout history from all over the world, rulers throughout the world, that keep their own private collection in these cellars that has been there maybe for more than 100 years. So it's a really interesting place with a lot of interesting history and culture and food. And one of the other little short things about Moldova I'll just share is that the country itself was ruled by the Ottomans for like 400 years. I don't want to get you bored here when I'm talking about history, but so they had a lot of Turkish influence because of the Ottomans, and then it was only for about 70 years, it was like in the 1900s, that Russia took over. So even though it has more affiliation with Russia because it was formerly USSR and it was formerly part of the Soviet Union, it has a lot of ties and roots from Turkey. So our culture is really a blend of the two. We have a lot of the same words and food and cultural things, whatever, from both of these countries, from Turkey and Russia. So it's a really interesting place. And yeah, so we were both born there, which is really interesting. I was born in the capital of Chisinau, which is, this country's small, the capital is small, but I think right now it's like 3 million people, which isn't that much. And Boris was born in a really small, tiny village in the northern part of Moldova, which is near the border of Ukraine. And yeah, we actually, on our backpacking trip, we ended up in Moldova, unplanned, but we ended up there. We wanted to get there, and we did, and we visited a lot of the places that we both were from, and we lived, our old apartments, our old schools, and it was really interesting. But that's way down the line. We have plenty of time before we get there. But I just wanted to share that bit of information, and that really is just the tip of the iceberg of everything else that we have in common. So I want to share more stuff, but I don't want to overwhelm you in the first video because there's way too much to share, and I could just go on and on and on. And I think if you watch enough videos, then you see that I have a tendency to do that. So hopefully you enjoy it. If not, then feel free to fast forward. But yeah, if you're interested, look it up. You might be surprised at what you find, or tune in and maybe you'll learn more as we go, because I will be sharing more stuff about that. But I think that's a really crazy fact, and when we met each other, it was really interesting because We had no idea. We weren't seeking out anyone from Moldova. We weren't even seeking anyone out Russian or that culture or anything like that. It just kind of happened. It was completely by accident. It was such a random discovery for both of us, and we couldn't even believe it. And yeah, because even though we both were raised in Brooklyn and grew up in Brooklyn, New York, New Jersey area, where there's such a large population from all over the world, such an international population, we didn't know any people from Moldova. There's only a handful of people that we knew that were family or family friends that we knew from there. But otherwise, you don't really come across people from Moldova. And if you haven't heard of it, then you're not alone, because a lot of people don't even know where it is. So yeah, that's one of our things about us, and I'm excited to share more. So tune in next time for some more background about us and some more similarities. All right. Love you guys.